with my good friend or great friend, George from Mobile Works in Santa Maria, California. And tonight our topic is going to be, which is one of the trainings I do when I get to go to people's facilities or online, is how to sell like a carnivore. Now, George, he suffered. I mean, George has been through the training a few times. Isn't that right, George?
Yes, yep. Still use it. Still pick up keys and yeah. Used Gata today and added a $4,800 sale. So
Yeah. So, and we'll talk a little bit about God at the end, but tonight we're going to talk about building rapport because it all starts off with rapport building. Building, not billing. But if you do it right, you will be building somebody, right, George?
yeah, absolutely.
So I tell people my wife's a speech pathologist and she has a full-time job with me. Trust me. So, but anyway, if you have a pen and a piece of paper, let me see. I'm going to put my notes up here. Hopefully they don't get messed up. I'm going to do it like this. And just write out the word seemings. S-E-E-M-I-N-G-S. Seemings. Now, I got to be honest with you. There was a guy selling like toys at a gas station, and I got a chance to talk with him, and he gave me the first three letters of seemings, and I took it from there. And if I could remember his name, George, I would say his name. And the reason why I'd say his name, because I found out that, if somebody teaches you something or gives you a good tip, you should give them credit at least once. And then, after you give them credit, then I say something like, I heard it said. And then the third time I say, Dell said. That's only fair.
Yeah.
So seemings, the S. Now, George, smiling. Now, everybody, why is smiling so important? Well, it makes the person you're smiling at feel good about themselves, and it also makes you feel good about yourself. I can't tell you how many times I've walked into stores and stuff like that, and they act like you're not even there, George. Have you ever experienced that?
Many times. That's the difference between the good and the bad.
And when
retailers.
When people used to come in my facility, I'd go, have you been anywhere else? Yes. Did you see anything you like? Yes. Why didn't you buy? Because a bunch of guys were standing around the counter and they acted like we weren't even there. And so, George, me with my sense of humor, and I go, well, I love those guys. And the people go, really? Why? Why would you love them? And I say, well, George, if they would have greeted you like you wanted to be greeted, you wouldn't be here now buying, would you?
Absolutely.
And so the thing about it is, and we'll talk about it, always assume the sale. AAS, always assume the sale. You see, the more you find out about me, you'll find out, man, the guy's got acronyms for everything. Well, that helps me remember. So the first thing in seemings is smile. It makes your potential client feel good about themselves. The other thing it does, George, is it builds trust. Now, if somebody likes you and trusts you, and they have the need, want, desire, the money or the credit, they'll buy from you. Guaranteed. Huh?
Without any fear.
Without any fear, which the smile, back. George, now are you looking at my notes? Because note number 3 says it reduces the fear.
Absolutely.
Now, 80% of all buyers will buy from those who they like and trust. 80%. That's 8 out of 10. Or 1 out of 5. Now, the S is for smiling. The E is for eye contact. Now, I've seen salespeople where they look down and they never look at the person in the eye. The problem with that is if you do that, it is unnerving to the person you're talking to. You see, with eye contact, it's going to build confidence with the potential client. It also gives you more credibility than somebody that doesn't look at them. And of course, it builds even more trust. Remember, 80%, if they like you and trust you, they're going to buy from you. If they have the need, the want, the desire, and the money, all the decision makers are present, because we'll go into that when we get into qualification, or and they have either, they have credit if your facility offers credit. Now, the next thing, George, the next D is for enthusiasm. It's contagious. So is being bummed out, George. Of course, the thing about enthusiasm is that it ensures that your solution for their pain is the right one. Now, George, what do you think about when I said the solution for their pain is the right one? Why would I use the word pain, George?
Well, you want them to be happy, but I mean, they come in, but kind of in fear, not knowing you and who you are, and you start breaking it down. You're friendly. Uh, they start to trust you. They build their confidence, credibility. You know a lot about them, so I think their pain is to go away. They don't have
So,
any pain.
so let's talk about the guy with the AMG that you got a $4,800 sell today. What was his pain when you think about his vehicle, George?
His pain would have been the rock chips in the front, on this brand new. And he goes, I got it on a closeout. It's actually a year old. And it was a floor model. Still, this is probably about $175,000 car, $160,000 car, and he bought it. So
those rock chips are probably talking to him every time he walks around. Is that right?
and his other car too.
Right. And
So,
there's nothing more painful than, if you drive over a vehicle and the dash is cracked. I mean, it talks to you all the time, mostly when you're driving, right?
yep,
And we have the solution to help eliminate the pain before it starts.
correct.
Before it starts. Okay, so another thing about enthusiasm, everybody, is nothing will be sold without it. Nothing will be sold without it. You can have an inferior product with enthusiasm, George, versus somebody that has a superior product with no enthusiasm and beat them all day.
Mhm.
And the reason why I know this is true is because when I first started my business, I didn't have all the best brands. So I had to be enthusiastic about what I had. And I had to be able to look them in the eye. And I had to believe in myself that dollar for dollar, this is the best solution for them. And I believe that. And we'll talk about that a little more. So we got the smiling for the seemings, we got the eye contact, we got the enthusiasm. The next one is kind of interesting. The M stands for mirroring or matching. And what that is subconsciously, when you mirror or match somebody, it'll build rapport 58% faster. Of course, when we match our tone, our rate of talk, and the pitch, that's also another way to match them. And then there's words that they use. For example, when I met Sonia, George, she was like, oh, this professor's amazing. That professor's amazing. Well, I didn't meet her in person. We met online and stuff like that. So the first time I saw her, Sonia, you look amazing, because that's her word.
Matching.
See, so there's hot and not words that we want to use. But see, that only helps us build rapport 7%. 35% is match in their tone. Are they deliberate, or do they talk really fast? Because if they talk really fast, then you should talk really fast. But if they talk slow and deliberate, you need to talk slow and deliberate. Now, right now, George he was
Matching.
He was right. Now, if I do this, let me see you do it, George. Now he's matching. Actually, he's mirroring because it's on the same side. Now put your hand on the other side, George. That is matching. See, these little things add up to the big thing, which is the sale.
Yep,
Okay?
I do it a lot of times, standing in front of customers.
Yeah. And they don't know. And they might say something like, man, have I met you before? It seems like I've known you for a long time. So this is going to help you close more sales, which your potential client, and we talked a little bit about hot and not words. Now remember, every word matters. Every word you say matters. Every word they say matters. Every word the way you say matters. Every word the way they say matters. Every word matters. Now,
Absolutely.
so when we mirror and match, it's going to create commonality and it's going to help you build rapport. Well, tonight, you know how to sell like a carnivore. We're talking about rapport building, and these simple things. I mean, I'll tell you some story. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you know, the acronym for rapport for me is RIP. What's RIP, George?
Um,
It's not rest in peace. It's
no,
it's
rapport.
rapport is power.
Okay,
Tony
rapport.
Robbins. So we got the S for seeming, smile, eye,
Smile,
eye
eye
contact,
contact.
enthusiasm, mirroring or matching. The next one on our list is interest. You see, you have to put their interest before your interest to establish a long term business relationship. Long term. You see,
Right.
the difference between a sale and a client, George, is a sale is one and done. A client comes back to you for years.
Lifetime.
They refer all their friends. They don't mind writing you a 5-star review.
Family, brothers, sisters, kids, mom, dad, grandma. I love it. I love my
And
small town.
yeah, and see, of course, referral or word of mouth advertising is the best advertising that you could do. So these
Or
things,
rapport is power.
what's that? Rapport is power.
Yep.
So um, after you show out their interest and focus on that, always focus on their interest. Why? It shows that you care.
Yeah,
George,
you have. Yep. You care about them. You're not just.
today, the guy with the AMG, right? Did
Yeah,
he could he sense that?
absolutely. Because I kept on talking about, he also mentioned he bought a BMW, and I asked him, "Is this the second or third?" And same thing on a Mercedes. Is your second or third, fourth Mercedes? Well, this is my third. And so building that rapport got the conversation more to know him, and it breaks them down to be more friendly. As
Exactly.
you're more friendly, they're more friendly. The conversation goes both ways, and you're not just a typical salesperson.
So I want to tell everybody a true story. George and his wife Kimmy came and spent 3 days with me, and we went through the 3 day training, how to sell like a carnivore. Now
Killed it.
she knew nothing about car stereo. She knew nothing about window tint
Nothing.
or anything else. Now George's going out of town. She goes, Del, what do I do? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I learned that from my leadership trainer, John Maxwell. I told her, Kimmy, just show them that you care. George, what happened?
So I'm gone for training at Mobile Solutions 4 days. My wife books the store for the week, and the next week sets up a consultation for a radar. Okay. And then sets the appointment so we get back. We do the consultation, $4,800 consultation for radar on the guy's brand new, 370Z. But just taking down all the notes. caring about people, the enthusiasm through the phone. Wow, this is a female even answering the phone in a man's world, kind of. Just even broke it down even more, and just showing that she cared. And okay, you're looking to do this and this and this. Yeah, I think we do it, but I can find out and give you a call back, or it takes down the information. I would call back in and I'd break it down and give her some of the information. She'd call back and she'd set all the consultations up or just book the appointments.
Mhm.
She killed it in 4 days. I can remember sitting at the kitchen table, her crying about it, but we walked her through it all. And I left, and she actually, that was a Labor Day weekend. It was our 3 day
Uh-huh.
weekend we lived there.
That's coming right up, huh?
Yeah, this is now probably 7 or 8 years ago. Now she's not afraid to take the phone calls. She's not afraid to go out and look at a car. If I'm gone for a day or I run an errand, she still has that magic
Yeah.
and
But see,
kills it.
how much did she know about car stereo?
None,
How much
zero.
did she know about window treatment?
Better that she doesn't know. Okay, it's even way better because you can't give a price. You can't give nothing but enthusiasm and say, "Come down to the store."
Yeah.
Period.
So
What better you need?
here's what's interesting about the whole thing, though. We're in the people business.
Hmm.
We're in the people business.
Yep.
And when you understand people, and when people understand that they don't care how much you know, she didn't know anything,
Didn't know anything.
but until they know how much you care and see they felt harm, heartfelt
Yeah.
that she
Yeah.
cared.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me it don't work because you'd have to try and sell that to somebody else because I'm not buying and you're not that good.
Right.
so
She
so
did
we
it.
got so we got smiling for S, eye contact, enthusiasm, mirroring and matching, right? We got interest. Now this one right here is so simple and yet very few do it. And the N stands for names. Get their name.
Yes. Get her name.
I go out and I go to buy furniture and I buy this set from this guy only because he had the best price on exactly what I wanted. And George, I shared with him about getting people's names. And then when he's doing the paperwork, he don't even call me by my name. Now, if he didn't have the best price, George, I would have told him right then, you know what? Never mind. You don't listen. And I was trying to help the guy.
Yeah.
Now, my wife, she tells me, whenever we go shopping or whatever, no free sales training because I feel sorry for people. But you see, when you get their name, it's the sweetest sound to their ears. Now, you got to get it and use it exactly how they give it to you. And that alone is going to separate you from your competition. Now, George, I was in New Orleans and their names are like that long, right?
You're in trouble.
Right. And so I just looked at him and smiled and I go, you know what? I'd really, I don't want to blow up your name. Is there a nickname that you like that I can call you by?
Yeah.
And they gave it to me. Now, George, why would I say a nickname that you like?
Just to make them comfortable. You want to make them comfortable, and they understand it.
So it also will create instant rapport. Now, today, I've been doing some training and work with another company in a different industry. And today I made my first sale. But see, I got their names. I got, I got their names. I used their names exactly how they gave it to them. I used their name as much as possible. Uh, I found out all kinds of things about them. We'll get into qualifying and stuff like that. But and then I told them, you're my first sale at doing this. They go, really? But you're so good. Well, I don't know a lot about the product, but they knew I cared. So their names. Now the G. So we got S for smile, E for eye contact, the other E for enthusiasm, the M for mirroring and matching, the I for interest, the N for names, but the G stands for being genuine. You see, I can't be George and George can't be me. But that doesn't mean you cannot take what I'm sharing with you and make it you. And that's
Right.
what has to be done. That's what I had to do.
That's what I
And
do.
so when you truly believe that your solution is the best, you're being genuine. You have to take the time to learn, personalize, and apply the techniques to make them yours. Of course, if you come off as being fake or phony, they're going to see right through it. And at that point, just walk over and hit the no sale button because that's what's going to happen right there.
Ding,
What's that?
ding.
Ding, ding. Yeah, no, we don't like that song. Of course, so we have. Now, by the way, you go, Dale, you keep going over and over and over again. That's because repetition is the mother of all learning. So we got the first S for seeming or for smiling, for seemings. Then we got eye contact. We got enthusiasm. Nothing's going to be sold without it. Mirroring and matching. That's going to, build our rapport even faster. We got to show interest. When George was talking about his AMG and then started talking about his BMW, George was showing interest. Then, he got his name. George is genuine. He is who it is. But the last one is sincerity. And what's interesting about sincerity, it's going to create confidence with your potential client. It's going to show you that you truly care about them. And it's also going to build trust. Trust, credibility, enthusiasm, rapport, caring, and having the confidence are all essential in building a long-term relationship with your clientele. Now, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
See, I work at what I do. George works at what he does. And George, sometimes we get lazy. What happens when we get lazy?
Sales slump,
But
or you make mistakes.
mhm.
Hey, this
but
car has film on it. Oh, okay. I should have walked out there and saw it.
yeah, or
I'm
I
not the
mean,
professional.
so we'll mention got it because we're going to go in it detailed on our next episode of how to select a carnivore. But God is real simple. The G go,
Go.
O out, the T,
Who?
the other T,
There.
and the
Oh,
A,
automobile.
automobile. Go out to their automobile. And so share with me, some of the things I taught you when you walk out to their automobile. Or do we just got our mouth shut, or what are we doing today?
Oh,
What'd you do, George?
hey, Dell, how long you had this new Toyota?
I bought it brand new in 2016.
Man, silver, it's an awesome color. It's easy to take care of, isn't it?
That's correct.
What'd you drive before, Dell?
I had a 2013 Toyota.
Really? What color was that one?
It was silver also.
So it's even easier. You know how easy it was. So, Dell, tell me, what are you thinking about doing to this vehicle? What would you like to do different than the last one?
Well, the last one, it was pretty trick. It only had a 4-cylinder, so I wanted more power, so I went with the 6.
Ah, so you like that added power now. Plus, you got a lot
Absolutely.
more technology. What else do you want to
Yeah.
do with this vehicle? What were you
Well,
thinking?
well, since it's brand new, I definitely need to get my windows tinted because
Yeah.
I don't want to get in a hot car.
What'd you do to the last one?
We tinted the windows and we also did the windshield.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can show you some of that and show you what we have to offer. Who did the last one?
You did.
Okay, my mistake, not realizing it. So let's take a look at the car. How was the stereo? Did you do a stereo system last car, or are we just looking to do window tint?
Apps. Well, I did a stereo last time.
Okay, so we want to do this one too then, just like the last one, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends.
Um, what does it depend on?
How much?
Well, if I could fit it within your budget, can you see making this happen today?
I'd consider it.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. I mean, how much space? I mean, at that point, you still got to build rapport. Take a look inside their vehicle. Tell me what you were thinking. How much space do you want to give up? Who else rides in this vehicle?
Well,
There's
George, you know the thing about space is if you want base, baby, you got to get up to space, don't you?
yes. So it's all those questions when you're going out to the vehicle. Now you're also got to be out the vehicle and start looking for other things. So if you look in there and you see a laptop, you see a iPad, you see kids' car seats, you start. These are all key things to start to talk about. Hey, listen, I got some concerns here. I see that computer there. Is that your work computer? And you got to start to ask them because that work computer has a lot of files, information, depending on what they do. Hey, I got some concerns. This vehicle, Dell, I know it's new, but doesn't have security system. Did you know that? Were you aware of that?
See, and those are the things. So listen, man, I'm going to cut you off because you're going to go through the whole thing and you're going to ruin the next episode.
Right. Well, this is stuff that is part of seems right that you got to go out there and be enthusiastic, but you got to ask all the questions. But we're people. We're people. We're people persons. We're selling a lifestyle. We're going to help you make your vehicle a lot more fun. How do we make it more fun? Ask all the right questions because the customer doesn't know what they want. You've got to help them and be aware of it. And when you do that, who wins? The customer.
Mm-hmm.
We win, yeah, we won. But you know what? What we won is the lifetime of our customer who again comes back and back and back, refers to friends, refers coworkers. All of a sudden you got mom, dad, grandma. I love it. I mean, I meet a whole family, and it's a lot of fun.
I had third generation clients, George. So, the grandson would come in. I go, how'd you find out about us? And he goes, well, my grandfather told me to come here. And can I make a suggestion? And he goes, what's that? Listen to your grandfather.
There's so many questions we could go on about Gata, just going out to the vehicle.
But if you don't get your rapport building down, because it's all part of the process,
Yes.
smile. Man,
Yep.
that's a beautiful car. See,
Enthusiasm.
I had a guy come in with a 71 Pinto, George. Here's what I didn't do. Man, I heard if you got rear-ended, the thing will blow up.
Yeah. No.
So I go, Pinto, man, I haven't seen a Pinto in a long time. Where'd you get the Pinto? Well, my grandfather left it to me. Oh, well, that's kind of a rough way to get it. He goes, yeah, it was the first car I learned how to drive in. I go, I see. Besides the Pinto, did Grandpa leave you anything else?
Yeah.
But see, if I didn't have the rapport, I wouldn't have been able. I couldn't say it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about seemings one more time. The S, George.
Smiling.
The E, the first E.
Enthusiasm.
The second E.
The second E, eye contact.
Right. The M.
Mirroring or matching.
Right. The I. Interest. You've got to show interest.
Okay.
See, if you're not interested in what they got, why should you expect them to be interested in what you got? You see, I was doing a training today, George, and they said the one that talks the most is the one that buys.
Yeah.
And so if you're doing most of the talking, kiss it goodbye.
Yeah.
So we
probably got to ask the questions.
The N is for the
names. Getting to know their name and talking to them.
Right. The G.
Be genuine.
And then the S. Sincerity. Sincerity. So everybody, if you need some help, just email me at dellhelpus@gmail.com, or you just keep tuning in and watch these videos because I'm not holding anything back, am I, George?
No, we're not. We're really doing this to help a lot of people become more professionals. I asked
And
L to do all this and take advantage of it, guys.
so, by the way, if you share this post with some, or tag somebody, it enters you into our contest. And next week we're gonna figure out who the winner is, and what they're gonna win is they're gonna get a one-on-one, 1 hour session with me where they can just pick my brains. I'm gonna tell them, hey, write down where you get your bottom kicked. On the right butt cheek. George, what's on what most people's right butt cheek?
Benjamin, baby, Benjamin.
Or lack of.
Laugh
But this is my wallet right here.
wallet.
So, but
Show me
anyway,
money.
I just want to thank my special friend, great friend George, for doing this. And like I said, if you need help, just email me at delhelpus@gmail.com. Listen, I'd give out my phone number, but I get so many spam calls. I apologize. So if you email me, I will get back to you. And then I'll give you my phone number, and then I'll put you in my phone. So if you text me, I'll go, oh, okay,
Very helpful.
George is texting. George, have you ever reached out to me when I didn't get back to you?
Never. Always.
Always will.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but it'll become later in the day or some night. Always
if
gets back.
you'll take these simple things that I shared with you tonight: seeming, smile, eye contact, enthusiasm, mirroring and matching, interests, names, be genuine and sincere, you will close more sale.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Good night.
Good night.